random here. On August 8th, 2020, I woke up and immediately checked Twitter. It's a bad habit of mine. It was actually a pretty slow news day, so I checked the trending tab to see if there was anything interesting. And there was. Hashtag TOH spoilers. Intrigued, I clicked on it and I was faced with this scene from one of the most famous episodes of The Owl House, Enchanting Grom Fright. Because it's a great scene, I immediately fell in love with it. I started keeping tabs on when the show would be able to go on Disney+. And when it did, I made a review of it that you can see in the description below. It was actually my quickest ever turnaround for a scripted video. They normally take months to make, and that took like a week and a half. So I was pretty proud of it. But in that video, I said this. And that's it. Thank you for watching this little review. It's definitely not something I would normally post on this channel. I normally post gaming content. Okay, so that video blew up. It smashed my expectations for this channel. It smashed my expectations for that video. I thought that video was gonna flop. I thought it was gonna get like 3 views and then be done. But it blew up. And I really enjoyed talking about it. So, you know what? This is gonna be something I'm willing to talk about more often. Not just like a one-off thing. That's starting with this because I want to do videos that I enjoy on this channel. It won't replace my gaming content, of course, by any means, but it'll be similar to the musical stuff when I come up with a couple videos a year on it. I don't know. Whenever I feel like it. Sound good? And that brings us to today. Disney released the first batch of episodes of The Owl House Season 2 onto Disney Plus this month, and I gave them all a watch. But first, I should probably give a quick story recap of Season 1. And I do mean quick. If you want a more in-depth storyline of Season 1, or just a refresher, or just a funny video about The Owl House, you should check out Foot of a Ferret's video about it, link in the description below. It covers all the major plot points, and it's honestly really, really funny. Better than anything I could come up with. It's just a well-polished video about the Owl House in general, and I'd highly recommend it, even if you've already watched the show. I even used it to look over the script for this to make sure I didn't miss anything major.
Ugh, fine. Just make a circle in the air using the power stored inside the gross green sack attached to your heart, and boom. But I don't have a green sack attached to my... Don't care, goodbye, going to sleep forever. Well, that was a bust. Oh god, giant monster!
So this is Luz. She's apparently very creative and, how should I say this?
Don't worry, Mom. I won't let you down. No more weirdness! That doesn't count, right?
In response, Luz's mom signs her up for a summer camp called Reality Camp, which just sounds like the worst. So Luz is forced to go to the summer camp and learns how to be normal and all that jazz. Yeah, just kidding! To the magical portal we go! She's in this fantasy world called the Boiling Isles. She meets this shopkeeper named Ida, who also happens to be a wanted criminal. Ida takes her to her house and we meet King, an overly energetic side character that barely contributes to the plot, but everyone watching can't help but love him to death, so who cares? This description also perfectly represents Hody. After a small little adventure, she decides to stay in the Boiling Isles because it's an awesome fantasy place, and Ida is cool with it. Only problem is, Luz is a human. And humans don't have the ability to do magic. Naturally, she manages it anyway by using this ancient form of magic where you draw a symbol and ta-da! Magic! So she goes to this magic school called Hogwarts School of... or Hexside School for Witchcraft and Wizardry. She meets 2 close friends and also Amity, the nerdy top of every class student. She also goes into gay panic mode whenever she sees Luz, so that's cool. Hexside is the main school which squirts students into the Coven system, which is headed up by Ida's sister, Lilith. The coven system is an establishment thing where if you're in the main coven, you have way too much control. Lilith, wanting to be in the main coven, cursed Ida when they were young so that she has to constantly drink an antidote to keep herself from turning into a terrifying creature that she has no control over. You know, a classic sibling rivalry! There's a stereotypical evil guy in the form of Emperor Bellows, and he wants to get the portal to the human world, yada yada yada. He's thwarted, the portal is destroyed, and that's season 1. But there's still some stuff left to talk about in season 2. First of all, some Lumity fan service is and will always be incredibly welcome. Also, now that Lilith has sacrificed her position in the coven system, and now that she's stopped the curse from hurting Ida anymore, she and Ida are both too weak to do traditional magic. And they have to learn how to use the symbol magic that Luz uses. And apparently, Bellows is trying to figure out how to reconstruct the portal to the human world. Finally, why is Luz's mom getting a bunch of letters that are supposedly from Luz? Because, they aren't from Luz at all. I really hope that we get at least a taste of this stuff in this first dose of season 2. I say that in the future tense because, well, this whole video has been written, recorded, and edited up to now before season 2 has even released onto Disney+, or rather the first couple episodes have. I'm actually recording on the 13th right now because I wanted to get this video out to you as soon as possible. But the downside of that is that it's going to be split up into 2 recording sessions, which, you know what that means. Time for a very poorly edited transition to like a week or so later. And we're here. It's 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday. I've already watched all the episodes and scripted this all, which took hours. And I'm tired, and I'm hungry, and I'm not going to be able to eat this until I'm done recording this. Oh. So you know what? Let's talk about the Owl House Season 2. Oh, and I promise I won't give any major spoilers. I'll talk about some things vaguely, but they won't be like super twists, and I'll leave you to uncover most of it for yourself. To start, let me just say this. We got a little bit of everything. We got a whole heaping dose of Illumity, we got some very scarce and cryptic messages on the portal in the letters, and we even got a good bit of glyph magic. And we even have some new mysteries and some new characters to discover that I won't spoil here. But now I gotta talk about the elephant in the room. Season 3. If you don't already know, Season 3 is going to consist of 3 45-minute specials, and that's it. No 20-episode series for us. Dana Terrace has already confirmed that it's impossible to extend the length of Season 3, and to me that basically deconfirms Season 4 and beyond. And that means it's the end of the saga. Spin-offs could still be possible, and I really hope we do get some spin-offs, like the comic book would be really cool, but I'm not holding my breath. And it's just disappointing because it feels like this show's been successful. They had DuckTales for 5 seasons or whatever, and DuckTales, like, no disrespect to DuckTales, but it was never as successful as the Owl House has been. So we can speculate why Disney would do something like this, but my money's on the fact that it has LGBTQ plus representation. I mean, Disney is a worldwide brand, and we still want to stay popular and relevant in certain places like China and the Middle East. It's just how it is. Because, of course, we can't have just some good LGBTQ plus representation in a show or anything without Disney or without anybody just cutting it short because that's still not socially acceptable. And it's just so frustrating. But you know what? We can't let that affect our enjoyment of the show. We need to just be able to love the show for what it is and not for what it is in the future. What it is now, what it's accomplishing now. We need to be able to enjoy it for that. And that's what this review is going to be focused on. As Usnavi would say.
However, how do you wanna face it? Do you wanna waste it when the end is so close you can taste it? Y'all could cry with your head in the sand. I'ma fly this flag that I got in my hand.
Arriba esa bandera, alzale donde quiera.
Hey! Can we raise our voice tonight? Can we make a little noise tonight?
My biggest criticism of the show's first season was that it couldn't break the chains of being a show for kids. It was genuinely hard to watch sometimes, and I was constantly reminded that I'm not the target demographic for the show. But Season 2 fixes that. Even with the lesser moments, they were still good. I wasn't constantly itching and waiting for more Lumity or more of the mystery to be uncovered. I mean, of course, those were the two things I wanted most, but I genuinely enjoyed all of it, not just that. This season as a whole has a darker tone to it, and that comes across in the characters. Luz feels more mature, Ida feels less goofy, and Willow just seems to smile a bit less. There's Gus's situation too, but I'll get to him later. Well, this obviously makes sense in light of all the stuff happening with Ida's purse and such. It feels so gloomy. I know I kinda criticized Season 1 for the opposite of this, but my gosh, I miss those happy faces. The Owl House has really made me care for these characters. I want them to be themselves. I want to see Luz's old goofy self with Amity and the growing happiness within her. I want to see Willow and Gus grow into their own people. I want to see Ida's curse gone and for her to be able to sell human trinkets with a fabulous flair. I even want Lilith to be happy even though she was the main antagonist of the first season. I haven't cried from the Owl House yet, but it's so close to it and I'm sure it'll make me cry very, very soon. This show has nailed its pacing, it's nailed its characters, it's nailed pretty much everything. And even with the filler episodes, because those are still here, I even enjoy them. I don't consider them to be like a gap. I really, really like them. They're emotional and charming and just great. And then I have to readdress the elephant in the room. This is a show whose days are numbered, and that number is ticking down fast. So every time I see something new, or even something that's slightly slower, I become nervous about the idea that they'll have to find a way to finish all of these things, and I don't want the ending saga to be rushed. Disney put a ticking time bomb on the show, and it barely has enough time to say its final words. So overall, I don't think it's fair to give the show any lower than an 8 out of 10. I gave the previous season a 7 out of 10 because, well, I didn't think the writing was very good and I thought it couldn't break out of the mold. But it did. It broke out, and this time it's not the show's fault. It's Disney. Like, Disney is holding this over our heads, and what that means to me is if they mention something slightly off topic or if they introduce something new, I'm just on the edge of my seat hoping against hope that they say everything they want to say and that this show comes to a satisfying conclusion, and it's just distracting me from just enjoying the show. The show deserves to get a 10 out of 10, but, well, it's Disney. Dana Terrace says the best way to support the show is by watching it on Disney Plus, and that's how I did watch it. And I'm most certainly going to continue to try to support it. I mean, who knows? Technically, if Season 4 hasn't officially been deconfirmed, at least to my knowledge, maybe miracles can happen. Oh, and about Gus, his voice is completely different and deeper, and I hate it. I mean, it's not the show's fault, it's not Disney's fault, it's not even the actor's fault. the actor just went through puberty, so like now his voice sounds deeper, and it's not his fault. You know, I can't fault the show for that. But like, gosh, I really hate the new voice. Yeah, I mean, but it fits the darker tone, I guess. I don't know. I'm glad I'm finally done with this recording. Jesus. Ugh. Chocolate bar. See you next month for the next 5 episodes. Bye.